When hunger sweeps in, every advantage becomes meaningless. Some of the strong must go hungry. Even the swiftest hunters return empty-handed. But there is one creature that always seems to find a way to survive. What has kept it alive when others slowly run out of chances? The dry season returns to the savanna once more. The sun bakes the earth until it cracks, the last watering holes dry down to bare mud, and the vast grassland is left with nothing but a scorched gold. The lion pride lies listless beneath the trees, ribs jutting out one by one. The cheetah gives up and abandons its territory. The hyena wanders twice the distance and still comes back with nothing. Only there, on that rocky outcrop, a dappled figure still basks leisurely in the sun. Muscle rolls beneath its glossy coat. Nothing about it suggests a creature that has gone without food. This is the leopard, the famed lone wanderer of the savanna. From on high, its golden eyes lock onto a herd of impala grazing at the foot of the cliff. The leopard silently pours itself down the base of the cliff, smooth as a ribbon of silk drifting along. It flattens its body and crawls across the grass, the rosettes on its back blending into the dappled shadows of the ground. Step by step, the distance shrinks. It presses in behind a dry thorn bush, eyes locked on the impala, patiently waiting until only a few strides separate them. The leopard bursts from its hiding place like a coiled spring released. In just 2 bounds, it lands on the impala's back, pins it to the grass, then closes its jaws on the throat until the final breath. Before long, the scent of blood reaches 3 damp noses downwind. 3 spotted hyenas rise slowly to their feet, their round ears pricking up with excitement. Three hulking shadows come charging in, aggressive and making no effort to hide. Still crouched over its prey, the leopard lifts its head, ears rising at the sound drawing ever closer. It lets out a low, resentful growl, then backs away from the fruit of its own labor. For it knows all too well, a single wound is enough to end an entire solitary life. The hyenas swarm around the impala's carcass, wolfing down the stolen prize. A few dozen paces away, the true hunter can only watch its meal dwindle away. It turns its back and walks off, its gaze still lingering on the towering acacia canopy behind it. Today's lesson is a costly one. Down on the ground, a lone creature can never hold on to its meal. Having lost a large meal, the leopard does not lose heart waiting on luck. It does not leave in search of new lands, but returns to its familiar territory, starting over from the smallest thing. Just half an hour after losing its prey, it has its first bite. A bird swoops down looking for seeds, and a clean pounce closes the moment before it can take wing. A little later, it wades into a shallow stream, its paws plunging down to snatch a fish. For a leopard, a single day can mean 10 small meals, and that is its secret. The next morning, another herd of impala falls into its sight. But the first thing the leopard notices is not the antelope, it is the acacia casting its shadow right beside them. It approaches far more slowly, seeking not a bush, but a tree. Tucked behind the rough acacia trunk, the leopard measures with its eyes the short distance from the herd to the base of the tree. A male impala grazes absent-mindedly, turning its back toward the acacia. The leopard springs out from behind the trunk, slamming it down before the horns can drop into a defensive stance. But this time, instead of resting beside the carcass, it rises at once. Its jaws clamp firmly onto the impala's neck, dragging the heavy body straight toward the base of the tree. The high fork of this tree now becomes the leopard's private kitchen. The meal rests there, out of reach of nearly everything on the ground, waiting for it to return and nibble over the course of several days. Before long, a pack of wild dogs comes charging to where the scent of blood leads. Vultures too spiral down, circle by circle, only to end up bewildered before a patch of grass with nothing left on it. From up in the leaves, a scrap of bone slips from the leopard's mouth and falls to the grass below. That dry, brittle sound reaches the ears of a troop of baboons just passing beneath the acacia. Shrill screeches ring out at once, short and urgent. This species of monkey has a signal all its own for the leopard, not to be confused with the alarm calls for eagles or lions. The troop rushes off in an instant, leaving behind one clumsy little one. On instinct, it scrambles up the tree beside it, the place that has sheltered monkeys from danger for generations. Sadly, the tree cannot save it from this one. Abandoning the impala carcass, the leopard seizes the young monkey. On a single branch in the heart of the barren dry season, there are now 2 meals all for itself. Having lost one of their young, the whole troop wails piteously at the foot of the tree. But that desperate cry is a signal every predator in the region knows by heart. And then, what answers the monkey's cries is a low roar that shakes the very ground. From the grass to the west, the dark mane of a male lion slowly emerges. The leopard instantly presses its body flat against the branch, motionless as a patch of bark. Its spotted coat blends into the flickering play of light and shadow until it dissolves into the leaves. Only when the dark mane vanishes behind the grass does it dare breathe steadily again. Just now, what saved its life was not fang or claw, but a coat of fur and a few sprigs of leaves. Waiting a good while longer, it finally slips down to the ground and quietly makes its way along the edge of the grass. After every upheaval, the leopard always walks a circuit of its territory to check on everything. At a tree on the edge of its territory, its nose suddenly wrinkles in wariness. The bark bears the claw marks of another, and on the wind lingers a scent entirely unfamiliar. The strange scent leads it on a stretch further, to a place where another leopard stands still in the grass. The newcomer has a smaller build. Both stand rooted to the spot, two pairs of golden eyes locked on each other and refusing to look away. The territory's owner lowers its body, bares its gleaming white teeth, and lets out a low, muffled growl. That battle ends before it can even begin. The one who came later flattens its ears, drops its gaze, then slowly retreats, choosing defeat to keep its body whole. That forbearance is not cowardice, but the calculation of a lone wanderer. With no kin to care for it, it must keep this body intact at all costs. Back at the acacia, the leopard climbs up to finish off its unfinished meal. The sunlight has begun to fade, but the meat hanging on the branch is still enough for many more days. Right beneath its feet, columns of ants silently haul away the fallen scraps. Even a meal hidden high above ends up, in the end, sustaining countless other lives. The dry season is still long, and at the forest's edge, another shadow looms closer. That one does not climb trees, nor hunt by night, yet it survives in an entirely different way. On a dry acacia branch, a martial eagle sits motionless as though carved into the sky. Its sharp eyes sweep slowly across the ground below, missing no movement. At the base of the acacia, the mouth of a rabbit burrow is visible. A rabbit pokes its head out to scent the air, then takes a few steps out to graze, hind legs still angled toward the burrow ready to retreat. The eagle tilts its head and locks onto the target, but the prey is only 2 steps from the burrow entrance and would dive inside before the talons could make contact. Yet the hunter cannot wait. It folds its wings and dives straight down like an arrow, talons extended. But the rabbit hears the wind rushing and springs backward into the burrow. The eagle already knows it has lost the prey. The eagle beats its wings back to the same branch. It tilts its head to look down at the dark burrow entrance where the prey just vanished. A breakfast that slipped from its talons within arm's reach. The eagle missed because it struck half a second too early. Even the Lord of the Sky, with its eyes and speed, can miscalculate by a single moment. Morning sun stretches across the open grassland all the way to the horizon. Beside a bush, a cheetah lies flat, intently watching a gazelle grazing slowly in the distance. To be certain, it needs to close to within 50 meters before accelerating. But across that open expanse, one step too many, and the prey detects it. Losing patience, it bursts from the bush like a bolt of lightning, reaching nearly 100 km within 3 strides. But the gazelle has already spotted it and bolts when the cheetah is still halfway there. The cheetah pursues for 10 more seconds, then slows, its body already overheated. When the gazelle disappears beyond a distant rise, it stops in the middle of the grassland and sits panting. This is the paradox of the fastest runner. The harder it sprints, the faster it burns out. One missed lunge is not only a lost meal, but an entire afternoon of recovery. But on the grassland, There is a species that does not need to be the fastest, only the most relentless. At midday, a pack of wild dogs is herding an impala straight toward a marsh. The blazing sun pours down on the grassland beside the marsh. The wild dogs take turns leading the pace. When one tires, another surges forward, relentlessly tracking the impala for more than a kilometer. With skilled sharp turns, the impala continuously changes direction, looking for a gap. But the wild dogs do not let up for a second, pushing it steadily toward the edge of the marsh. The impala does not slow. It drives straight into the water. Each powerful stroke carries it across to the far bank, leaving the entire pack behind. The whole pack pulls up at the water's edge, eyes fixed on the escaped prey. One touches a paw to the mud, then steps back. The duckweed covering the murky surface makes them hesitate. The dog closest to the bank just leans down when the duckweed directly in front of it explodes upward, mud and water spraying everywhere. It leaps sideways in time, barely avoiding the first snap, then turns and scrambles back up the bank. But the mud is slippery and its foot gives way. That is all the crocodile needed. It drives forward with the momentum, clamps onto the dog's hind leg, and drags it back toward the murky water. The wild dog thrashes frantically, tearing free from the crocodile's jaws, and crawls back near the bank. But the predator does not let go. It lunges again, bites onto the dog's neck, and pulls it back. Two dogs on the bank drive in, biting the back and flank of their packmate and hauling it upward. A fierce struggle erupts, but the crocodile is stronger, pulling the animal inch by inch away from the bank. Then every movement seems to stop at once. The dogs on the bank fall silent, eyes fixed on the flat water surface. Suddenly, the wild dog surges upward one final time, summoning every last reserve to tear itself onto the bank. The wild dog barks and bares its teeth in a threat display, forcing the crocodile to retreat into the water. As the stirred mud settles, the truth becomes clear. The dog that just escaped has already lost a leg. The entire pack gathers around the injured one in protection, eyes locked on the water. They do not abandon their packmate, but a member that cannot run cannot last long. Beneath the duckweed, the crocodile silently sinks and swims away. That perfect ambush, in the end, yielded nothing. The prey escaped. On the far side of the marsh, the impala stands and watches across the water. The one that was just chasing it now lies at the water's edge, missing a leg, surrounded by the silent watch of the pack. Then it turns and walks, unhurried, into the wet grass. Only the three-legged one is left behind with its wounds. Its days of hunting have ended here. The wild dog pack still stands close, unwilling to leave. But a pack that does not hunt means a pack that goes hungry, and the midday sun is burning through energy that no one can earn back. The wild dog pack lingers beside their packmate. As the sun tilts toward gold, not far away, a new confrontation is quietly forming in the yellow grass. The lion pride drags its starved bodies across the grassland, bellies sunken after an entire day without a kill. Then they stop. Ahead, a bull buffalo grazes alone, separated from the herd. To the lion pride, this looks like a gift. A large prey, alone, with its head down and its guard lowered. Broad shoulders, curved horns, but no formation to protect it. But that appearance deceives them. A fully grown male buffalo carries nearly a ton of muscle, with horns capable of launching anyone who dares press close. Unaware of this danger, the lion pride quietly spreads out and circles wide to the rear. The afternoon breeze blows against them, masking their scent, each step tightening the encirclement. The lioness from behind springs forward, talons finding grip on the shoulder. But the buffalo reacts instantly. Four legs planted, a powerful sweep of the horns sending the lioness off its back. Without pausing, the buffalo charges directly at the male lion. Nearly a ton driving forward, horns aimed straight. The male leaps aside but does not escape the horn's point. The male lion is wounded in the body. The entire pride now understands this is no easy prey, and one by one, they turn and withdraw, not one of them looking back. The buffalo stands in the middle of the clearing, heaving breath, body lightly wounded, but its horns still bear the marks of the enemy. The shadows of the lions have disappeared entirely. The buffalo has returned to the herd, and the lion pride lies sprawled, licking wounds. The price for misjudging their prey is a day of empty stomachs and battered bodies. But the day has not yet closed. At a bend in the slow-moving river, the final mistake is waiting to be made. The line between life and death is just one step placed in the wrong spot. Beneath the soft mud along the murky riverbank, a Nile crocodile over 5 meters long has been lying in ambush since morning, so motionless that even the current has forgotten its presence. A zebra herd arrives to drink, calmly lowering their muzzles to the water. The one standing closest to the bank is now exactly one stride away from the jaws that have been waiting there for many hours. The crocodile launches upward, mud flying in all directions, jaws opening wide aimed at the front legs of the nearest zebra. But the lunge skids on the soft mud, deflects by a few centimeters. That margin is enough. The herd jolts into panic and bolts from the bank. The crocodile crashes back into the mud, jaws empty, its all-day ambush position now revealed. It settles back into the mud, watching the bank empty. It will have to wait many more hours until another herd forgets the danger and returns to drink at this exact spot. As the sun drops low, the grassland gradually returns to quiet. 5 hunts took place today, and strangely, all 5 hunters ended the day with empty bellies. Each prey survived in its own way, one through speed, one through its horns, one through the water, one through the herd. The only thing they had in common, none of them made a fatal mistake. And every hunter that failed did so for the same single reason. One moment of impatience, one foot placed in the wrong spot, one target chosen in error. On this grassland, that is all it takes. The savanna softens, traces fade. Today belonged to the hunted, because every hunter made exactly one mistake, and one mistake is enough. But tomorrow, the sun will rise. The hunters will stalk again. The prey will run again. And the grassland will again wait to see who makes the first mistake. A long dark shadow glides past the base of a tree, then vanishes. It has just slipped beneath the canopy of an Asian tropical rainforest. And at the end of that silent glide, another creature is about to run out of any chance to escape. Black, metallic sheen scales slide across a bed of decomposing leaves. A forked tongue continuously samples scent molecules, guiding the king cobra toward its prey through the dense, humid forest. While most venomous snakes hunt rodents, the king cobra dominates the food chain by preying on other snakes. including smaller cobras within its own territory. From South Asia to Southeast Asia, across India, Thailand, and Indonesia, millions of square kilometers of humid tropical forest stretch beneath nearly year-round heavy rains. High temperatures and humidity create ideal conditions for the king cobra, the longest venomous snake on Earth, to reign over the tropical forests of Asia. It can exceed 5 meters in length. A broad diamond-shaped head, black scales with a golden metallic sheen. It is not the largest snake, but it is more dangerous than any snake ever recorded. Its primary weapon lies not in muscular strength, but in its extraordinary ability to locate prey with pinpoint precision through chemical signals and ground vibrations. With each flick of the tongue, millions of scent molecules are transferred to the Jacobson's organ, allowing the brain to construct a detailed chemical map of the entire surrounding forest. A few dozen meters away, a small python was still slowly slithering across the layer of decaying leaves, unaware that its every movement had already been locked onto from the darkness. The king cobra raises its forepart and holds its body motionless. The forked tongue continuously checks chemical signals to precisely calculate the attack distance. It lunged forward. Its 5-meter body shot out like an arrow released from a fully drawn bow. The smaller python had no time to turn its head before the upper jaws struck the fragile scales along its neck. 2 fangs, each over a centimeter long, pierce through the thin scales. Neurotoxic venom is injected directly into the body and rapidly spreads through the circulatory system. The toxin quickly paralyzes the central nervous system, severing the control signals between the brain and muscles. Breathing begins to fail almost immediately. The king cobra widens its jaws. The skull joints flex apart, opening a gape far beyond normal limits. From the head, the prey begins to be swallowed slowly and precisely. Scales slide down the throat, a body nearly a meter long gradually disappearing into the darkness, leaving behind only a faint drag mark on the ground and a thick, heavy silence. In the wild, king cobras typically live alone. Each individual controls a wide hunting range to reduce competition for food with others of its kind. But in the dry season, as water sources dwindle and prey becomes scarce, even the most firmly respected territorial boundaries begin to collapse. 2 king cobras come face to face on the same trail. Both recognize that the food source ahead is too valuable to retreat from. Forebody raised high, the king cobra flares its hood. They coil around each other, pressing the opponent's head toward the ground, a sign of tension before a true fight for survival. The wrestling match can last many minutes, but when one side is exhausted and loses the ability to resist, the line between rival and prey sometimes disappears entirely. The larger one pins its opponent's head to the ground before delivering a bite. Fast, precise, directly to the neck region. Resistance fades with each passing second. When the sun sets, only one individual leaves the trail, its body visibly distended. For the king cobra, being the same species carries no privilege whatsoever. But even the cannibal is not invincible. Within the same forest exist creatures that cannot be subdued by venom. and that can bring down even a king cobra. The mongoose, sharing the same forest, possesses lightning-fast reflexes and a nervous system with acetylcholine receptors that reduce the impact of snake venom. The honey badger is equally renowned for its thick skin and high pain tolerance, allowing it to engage venomous snakes with an aggression few other species dare attempt. But the greatest threat does not come from the ground. It comes from a direction for which the king cobra has almost no evolved defense mechanism. As it glides into an open clearing, the canopy above has already been watching in silence for some time. Over 20 meters up, a pair of yellow eyes has long since locked onto its target. The crested serpent eagle is in no hurry. It waits for the moment the prey's body stretches out fully. Wings open wide, spanning nearly 2 meters. The dive unfolds in absolute silence. No beating of wings, no warning, only the air torn apart. Curved talons lock onto the neck and midsection. Each talon, over 5 centimeters long, pierces through the scales, swiftly lifting the prey clear of the ground. In the air, the king cobra loses every foothold needed to orient a bite. Its body thrashes through open space, every attack mechanism rendered useless. In the Asian tropical rainforest, position in the food chain is always shifting. Even apex predators can become prey under unfavorable circumstances. The king cobra plays a vital role in controlling reptile populations. A decline in their numbers can alter the ecological balance across many tropical forests. When smaller snake populations grow unchecked, the predation pressure on ground-nesting birds, amphibians, and insects shifts accordingly, affecting the entire ecological chain. But not every king cobra ends up in an eagle's talons. Some females live long enough to enter a remarkable breeding season. Unlike most snake species, the female gathers dry leaves and uses her body to coil and push them into a nest mound nearly half a meter high, a rare nesting behavior among snakes. Eggs are laid within the decomposing plant matter. Heat generated by the decomposition process helps maintain a stable temperature throughout embryo development. The female typically remains near the nest for several weeks, minimizing foraging activity to protect the eggs from predators and environmental fluctuations. Even as another individual was taken by an eagle moments before, the female continues to guard the nest. The instinct to preserve the lineage operates independently of any surrounding event. In the Asian tropical rainforest, life runs on competition, predation, and constant adaptation. No species stands outside the ancient laws of survival. The king cobra is not a symbol of cruelty. It is the product of millions of years of evolution in an environment where a single mistake typically means death. Today's hunter may become tomorrow's prey. And tomorrow, there will always be another species standing one rung higher in the same ecological cycle. The forest continues its motion in silence, needing no audience, needing no name, only the cycles of survival that existed before us and will continue long after us all. Dawn over Africa, first light touches the river surface. Thin mist rises from the still water, covering the sandy bank like an ethereal veil. Along the riverbank, footprints in wet sand tell last night's story. Some came to drink and left. Some species disappeared, never to return. In the distance, a baboon troop approaches the riverbank, then stops on high ground, observing the water below, displaying vigilance mechanisms selected through evolutionary process. This river is both life source and boundary between life and death. For small creatures like the baboon troop, each approach is a survival decision. Baboons are among Africa's most intelligent and fierce primates. Gray-brown fur, elongated face, and good eyesight help maintain high vigilance. Their jaws are fearsome weapons. Canines can reach 8 centimeters long, bite force from 500 to 700 pounds per square inch, enough to tear enemy flesh in an instant. They live in troops from several dozen to over 100 individuals, with clear hierarchical social structure helping maintain order and reduce conflict within the group. Baboons are omnivores, consuming from plants to small animals. Flexible diet helps them adapt effectively to harsh conditions of prolonged dry season. Their notable feature is a sophisticated warning system. Different sounds correspond to each threat, from birds of prey above to predators in bushes. But with dangers underwater, warning signals become limited when forced to cross rivers. Survival pressure forces the troop to choose despite existing risks. The troop leader advances, observing the river surface. In the next few seconds, its choice will directly affect the entire troop's safety. Behind, the entire troop waits silently in tension. Mother baboons clutch their young tightly, as delaying too long can also increase attack risk. The water surface is still, flat, and suspiciously calm. In African river ecosystems, silence often conceals lurking potential dangers. A dark shadow over 4 meters long lies motionless beneath murky water. Only eyes and nose protrude, camouflaged effectively like drifting rotten logs. Nile crocodiles are top ambush predators, with morphology virtually unchanged for millions of years. Their pupils are extremely sensitive to movement. Third eyelid supports underwater observation, helping detect prey precisely within hunting range. Nile crocodile bite force exceeds 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush prey bones. Once jaws have closed, almost no force can make them open. As ambush predators, they can lie motionless for extended periods to conserve energy and only attack when opportunity reaches optimal level. The tactic is very simple but extremely effective. Wait for prey to approach, attack in less than 1 second, and drag underwater to drown. Baboons are well aware of danger, while crocodiles are ready to ambush. The encounter between vigilance and silent strength begins right at this river bend. Finally, the troop leader decides to descend into water, each step cautious. The entire troop immediately follows, maintaining tight formation in this life or death choice. Adult males go first, water rising to their bellies. Behind, females hold young tightly, maintaining high vigilance against sudden attack risk. When the troop reaches midstream, water level rises to adult chests. Young cling tightly to mothers to avoid being swept away. Tension reaches peak. Suddenly, the water surface behind erupts. A crocodile charges with terrifying speed. The baboon troop panics, signals warnings. Formation immediately shatters. Individuals in front rush quickly toward opposite bank, while the rear group turns back. Dispersal breaks troop cohesion, making hunting risk increase. In nature, living in groups helps distribute risk. When separated, solitary individuals quickly become the clearest targets in dangerous environments. The crocodile locks target, not chasing the troop, but focusing on separated individual. This is common hunting tactic, prioritizing weak or slow-moving ones. Crocodile jaws close just centimeters from the baboon. Water splashes high. This individual escapes narrowly, rushing ashore at maximum speed thanks to survival reflexes. On both banks, baboons stand panting. The troop is divided by the deadly water. The first river crossing ends with luck, but not everyone made it to the other side. On the old bank, a mother baboon with young is trapped. She looks across to the other side, where most of the troop has safely gathered. Below the water surface, the crocodile has submerged, restoring initial calm. However, that silence is only concealing danger still lurking below. The mother baboon understands she cannot wait long. Lack of food and troop separation diminishes social standing. She must decide quickly to ensure survival chance. On the other side, the troop cannot wait, begins moving into areas with food. Distance gradually increases, forcing the mother baboon under pressure to act urgently. She descends into water. The young clings tightly to mother's back. Cold water gradually submerges the body. Each step is gambling with fate. Having advanced some distance, she steps slowly. The water surface ahead ripples lightly, then falls silent. Mother baboon is vigilant, eyes scanning along the current. From the right side, the crocodile suddenly lunges up without warning signs. At a speed impossible to react to, its jaws aim straight for the young on her back. Teeth sink deep into the young's leg. A piercing cry rings out. Mother baboon grabs her offspring, pulls back, creating a life and death tug-of-war in the water. On the bank, the baboon troop scatters. Warning cries ring out continuously, but no one dares enter the water, can only observe from safe distance. Mother baboon resists by instinct, continuously biting, clawing, and jerking. However, her bite force is significantly weaker than the crocodile's, making advantage tilt toward the predator. As the struggle drifts toward shore, the crocodile gradually loses advantage in shallow water. Seizing the rare opportunity, Mother Baboon musters strength for one final journey. The young escapes the crocodile's jaws, but in an instant, the crocodile switches targets and locks jaws onto Mother Baboon's leg. The young runs ashore, trembling with leg wound. Another baboon pulls it into the troop's center. It survives, but the price paid doesn't belong to it. Underwater, Mother Baboon still resists, but the pulling force increasingly tilts toward the predator. Bit by bit, she's drawn away from shallow water. On the bank, cries thin out, then cease completely. The baboon troop helplessly watches, unable to intervene. The outcome is decided and no second miracle occurs. On the water surface, the last ripples vanish. The water continues flowing, reflecting natural law that won't stop operating for losses. The baboon troop leaves the riverbank, quickly reestablishes formation, with the wounded young walking in the troop's center. Life continues despite carrying irreplaceable loss. The young is still too small. It doesn't fully understand what just happened, but survival instinct has deeply carved a life and death experience. In nature, victory sometimes is simply being alive. No heroes or villains, only existence continuing in life cycle. Below the river, the crocodile returns to familiar ambush position. It can fast for many weeks, but still patiently waits for prey. Persistence is its key survival weapon. Life by the water always exists in fragile balance, where action and waiting alternate, creating an endless cycle. In the distance, the baboon troop has found an area with food and gradually restores daily behaviors. But the formation is now missing one member. The young with leg wounds sits beside another female. It will grow up, will learn to survive, and someday will have to face this river once again. In the silence of the African plains, each species holds a role in nature's endless cycle. Life and death aren't opposites, but two parts of the same flow. Mid-morning on the African savanna, as the sun begins to pour down on the parched earth, life does not stop. It simply shifts to a different tempo. There is no shade for refuge, no place to hide completely. This is a land where every creature must expose itself to the sun and to one another. From a small burrow beneath a tree, a small head emerges. Dark, beady eyes scan the surroundings quickly. This is not curiosity, it is a survival habit repeated every day. The daytime savanna belongs to those who dare to venture out when the sun is harshest. And among them, there are encounters that neither side planned for. The Egyptian mongoose, a small carnivore widely known for a skill few others on the savanna can match, dealing with venomous snakes. Measuring about 50 centimeters long and weighing less than 2 kilograms, its reflex speed is among the fastest of any mammal of its size. The mongoose is equipped by evolution. Modified acetylcholine receptors make the cobra's neurotoxic venom act significantly slower on its body. But resistance to venom does not mean total immunity. A large enough dose or a bite in the right location can still be fatal. Not far away, a long, glossy object moves slowly through the grass. It makes no sound. Only a slight ripple on the blades of grass serves as evidence. The mongoose stops. Its nose points forward, the distinct scent of a large reptile, unmistakable for anything else on this savanna. To understand the gravity of the coming confrontation, one must look at the creature slithering toward the mongoose, one of the most dangerous and common venomous snakes of the Dark Continent. The Egyptian cobra, up to 2 meters long, capable of accurately spitting venom into an opponent's eyes from over 2 meters away. Each bite injects enough venom to take down a full-grown human. Beyond its toxicity, its main advantage is strike speed. A strike is completed in under 1/4 of a second, exceeding the reflex time of many equivalent predators. However, as the opponent closes in, the strike's effectiveness decreases. Distance becomes the decisive variable governing the probability of success for both sides. The two detect each other at less than 3 meters. The mongoose lowers its body and bristles its neck fur, while the snake spreads its hood and coils its body into an S shape. Both are ready for war. This is a language both species understand without needing to learn. Every posture is a message. I am not retreating, and I am readier than you think. Both hold their positions, neither advances. This is not hesitation, it is calculation. In this battle, the one who strikes first is not necessarily the one with the advantage. The snake sways its head slowly, tracking every movement of the mongoose. This is a psychological tactic, to distract the opponent, creating a moment of diverted attention to strike. The mongoose is not deceived. It moves forward half a step, then retreats. Forward, then back. Not out of fear, but to read the snake's reaction time. The snake lunges with a fast and precise strike, but misses. The mongoose evades in a split second. No one is hurt, but information has been gathered by both sides. The mongoose counterattacks immediately, without hesitation, lunging straight for the snake's neck, a strike taking less than 1/4 of a second, which the mongoose has practiced since it was young. The snake breaks free and coils back instantly. Both return to their original positions. The tempo spikes. It is no longer a probe. The battle has truly begun. The snake lunges, using its strength to bite quickly toward the mongoose. The mongoose closes its eyes and turns its face back, evading perfectly. The thick facial fur acts as a second barrier. The venom clings to the surface. The snake used one of its most effective weapons and failed. The mongoose accelerates. No more stepping back and forth. This time, it is a continuous assault, forcing the snake to strike repeatedly. Every strike from the snake is an opening the mongoose is waiting for. The snake gradually loses the initiative, shifting to a coiled, defensive posture. This stance limits attack angles, but simultaneously reduces its ability to control distance. The mongoose focuses on the back of the head, the area controlling the nervous system. A precise bite here can quickly neutralize all resistance. The snake thrashes violently, trying to escape the encirclement. Its long body sweeps across, pushing the mongoose away. The mongoose is tossed back, but does not fall. All four paws hit the ground instantly. This is the moment many other predators would stop, but not the mongoose. It returns with the same speed, maintaining pressure, demonstrating a resilient strategy selected by nature. The snake strikes one last time, more accurately than before. Fangs graze the mongoose's shoulder, but the thick fur and skin block part of it. The amount of venom injected is not enough to change the outcome. The moment the snake retracts its jaws after that bite is the final opening. The mongoose does not miss. Its jaws lock onto the back of the snake's head, the target it aimed for from the start. The snake coils around the mongoose, trying to use constricting force, but the mongoose does not let go. The bite force increases steadily. This is the decisive phase. The first to lose control will lose everything. The snake's movements slow down, not from exhaustion, but because neurological damage begins to spread from the bite site. The mongoose holds its position for nearly 40 more seconds. No rush. Waiting until movement completely stops. It is extremely cautious. When the snake is entirely motionless, the mongoose still bites down hard. Nothing changes. The battle ends in a way this species has repeated thousands of times before. The entire event took under 15 minutes, but every second reflects accumulated evolutionary data. No factor depended on mere luck. The mongoose drags the snake back to its burrow, a typical behavior for the species. No victory celebration, just a necessary meal after energy has been spent. In the ecosystem, the mongoose plays the role of a natural population control for venomous snakes. No other predator in this area performs that function. But the mongoose also faces increasing pressure, shrinking habitats, dwindling water sources, and competition with larger predators. The cobra faces similar trends. Declines in many areas are mainly due to environmental changes, exceeding the short-term adaptive capacity of both species. This raises a larger question. When one of the two disappears, how will the rest of the ecosystem adjust? There is no simple answer. Today's battle is a very small part of a much larger picture. Every species in this system depends on the existence of others. The mongoose carries the snake to its burrow. There is no reason to linger. The day is still long, and the savanna sun waits for no one. The savanna keeps no memory of what happens upon it. The wind erases traces. The sun dries what remains, and the cycle continues the way it has always operated. These two species have coexisted on this continent for millions of years, not because of peace, but because of balance. One side is dangerous enough to force the other to evolve faster. The mongoose will return to its burrow before dark. Another cobra will emerge when the temperature drops. This loop has no beginning and no end. Of all the lessons nature can teach, perhaps the simplest is also the most difficult to grasp. No species exists alone, not even the best predator. And as the first darkness touches the horizon, the savanna does not ask who won or lost today. It only prepares for what will happen tomorrow. It is dawn on an African riverbank. The water has not yet turned blue. A thin layer of mist clings low to the surface, refusing to disappear. Everything is waiting for the day to begin. A gray heron stands motionless on a rock near the shore, not hunting, not moving, just standing there, as if it understands that mornings here demand silence. Nearby, an antelope drinks, small sips, head down, then up again, scanning its surroundings in a rhythm repeated thousands of times before. This is a place every animal must come to, and every one of them must pay some kind of price for a drink. That price is never announced in advance. Lions, the dominant predators of the African savanna. Strength, speed, coordinated hunting. On land, few animals can confront them directly and come out on top. This pride has several cubs under 3 months old. At this age, their brains are still in the phase of exploration, even toward things their instincts have not yet learned to name. The lioness stops about 5 meters from the water's edge. She looks left, then right, then along the surface. It is a habit, but not a complete safety check. Beneath the water, another sensory system is already at work. Along the crocodile's jaws and body are thousands of pressure receptors. It knew the lions were coming before it ever saw them. The Nile crocodile, a reptile that existed long before the dinosaurs disappeared. And it still hunts this way because it has never needed to change. A crocodile does not hunt in the usual sense. It does not chase. It does not surround. It does not need a complicated plan. It simply waits until the target brings itself within reach. The lioness scans the area one more time. The surface is calm, no unusual sound. She allows the pride to approach and drink. It is the most reasonable decision she can make with the information she has. And that is exactly the problem. This is a problem with no perfect answer. The pride needs water to survive the day. That need cannot be postponed. But every trip to the riverbank means accepting a risk that can never be fully controlled. The smallest cub drifts away. It moves closer to the water's edge than the others. The distance from its mother grows, 10 meters, 12, 15. No one notices. The lioness is splitting her attention between the others and her own need to drink. One animal cannot monitor 4 directions with equal precision at the same time. The bend in the river and the sudden drop near the bank erase the usual warning signs. Lions have no way of reading the underwater terrain, so their ability to judge danger is limited. The early morning light gives the crocodile an even greater ambush advantage. And when several disadvantages stack together, the cub's chances of becoming prey rise sharply. The cub edges closer, crossing into the danger zone. Beneath the surface, the crocodile adjusts its posture without creating a ripple. This is the moment when two worlds are separated by only a thin layer of water. On one side, curiosity and exploration. On the other, a waiting strategy refined over millions of years. The attack comes without warning. The crocodile's jaws clamp shut in less than half a second, with enough force to lock onto the cub's forelimb instantly. The lioness reacts at once, covering roughly 15 meters in under 2 seconds, her roar tearing across the riverbank. But by then, the cub is already being dragged into the water. The crocodile does not need to kill on land. It only needs to pull the prey into the water. Once there, every advantage shifts completely, and the lioness knows that. She charges in up to her shoulders, slamming at the surface. But there is nothing there, only water. And beneath it, her cub is being pulled in a direction she cannot follow. She stops. No more roaring. She simply stands there, shoulder deep in a river that is not hers, staring into the surface with helpless eyes. Below, the crocodile has not yet dragged the cub into safe depth. The cub is still struggling, not from conscious decision, but from the body's raw mechanical reflex against the pull. The lioness manages to bite the crocodile's tail, the only part still within reach. The bite is not enough to injure it, but enough to throw it off for a second. The crocodile responds with a death roll, spinning violently. The lioness is forced to let go, but the twisting changes the angle of the bite, and in that brief instant, the cub slips free. The lioness drags the cub back onto the bank. She does not stop. She does not look back. She retreats farther and farther from the edge until her paws are fully on dry ground. The riverbank is where two worlds touch. The crocodile does not pursue. On land, the game has changed. It knows its limits, just as the lions know theirs. The cub is breathing hard. The lioness begins licking the wound slowly, over and over again. Beneath the surface, the crocodile has already returned to its old position, motionless, almost invisible. Nothing about it suggests failure. To a crocodile, waiting is never wasted. The entire attack lasted less than 15 seconds, but that was more than enough to leave a mark, not in words, but in sensation, in instinct, in reflex. In the days that follow, the pride still has to return to the river, but not at dawn, and not so close to the edge. This is how knowledge passes through generations in the wild. Not through teaching, but through pain severe enough for the body to remember longer than any lesson ever could. The mistake that morning did not belong to the cub. It did not have enough information to understand what it was doing wrong. The mistake belonged to the moment of judgment, to 4 stacked disadvantages. A Nile crocodile can go a very long time without food. Waiting is not a choice for it. It is survival. Every time the lions return to the riverbank, to the crocodile, it is simply another opportunity. Lion cubs in the wild rarely survive their first year. Every injury lowers those odds. This cub may recover if infection does not set in. When drought lasts too long, species are forced to gather around the few water sources that remain. The distance between predator and prey shrinks, and encounters like this one become far more common. The striking thing is, neither side is wrong. The crocodile is only doing what it has always done. The lioness is too. In nature, there is no right or wrong, only outcomes. These two species have coexisted along Africa's rivers for millions of years, not because of peace, but because both sides understand the boundary. The lioness does not know exactly where she went wrong. She only knows what happened. And in this world, the result is the only lesson that lasts. The injured cub carries a lesson today that cannot be taught in safety. It may not understand it yet, but its body already remembers. And in the wild, that is enough. Mistake becomes data. Danger becomes knowledge. And that knowledge, if the cub survives long enough to use it, may become a lifelong survival advantage. The burden is not strength. It is responsibility. The lioness does not live only for herself. Every choice she makes affects her young. Survival is not about always winning. It is a chain of choices, mostly right, sometimes wrong. And one mistake at the wrong moment can change everything. The riverbank does not change after the pride leaves. The crocodile is still there. The water is flat again. Everything returns to normal, as if nothing ever happened. Tomorrow, the lions will come back, but not quite the same as today. The lioness will stand farther away, choose a different moment, keep the cubs closer, not because she has planned it, but because she remembers in her own way. And when dusk falls, the river will keep flowing as it always does. It holds no memory. Only the creatures who live beside it must remember, if they want to survive. End of dry season on African savanna, ground cracked long like old wounds. Grass withered crisp underfoot, while air thickened silence. Each species here has a role, and that role isn't fixed. Today's predator can become tomorrow's prey, if it makes one wrong choice. In this harsh environment, no action is meaningless. And sometimes, a successful hunt is precisely the starting point for an unavoidable failure. Africa doesn't favor the strongest, but chooses those who adapt more effectively. And today, the law will be demonstrated through a small species. Honey badger, small, fierce mammal famous for courage, recognized by Guinness as most fearless animal, ready to confront opponents many times larger. Honey badger skin thick and very tough, enough to reduce effectiveness of strong bites. Loose skin also helps it twist to counterattack right when restrained. Honey badger's front claws long, curved and extremely strong, suitable for digging burrows, breaking beehives or foraging underground, and when needed, it tears through anything blocking path. Mongooses significantly smaller than honey badger, but they rarely act alone. This species' true strength lies in ability to coordinate in packs. In a mongoose pack, usually at least one individual performs sentry duty. It observes from high position and signals when danger approaches. Despite having certain resistance to snake venom, their greatest advantage lies in behavior. Group coordination with astonishing speed and precision. This morning, entire pack moving toward nearest water source, a familiar route repeated daily and already silently tracked by honey badger. Honey badger doesn't lack food, but this opportunity rarely appears. When pack begins dispersing to forage, young individuals remain, creating dangerous gap. In nature, distance sometimes determines survival, not just between two bodies, but between an individual and pack's protection, and honey badger knows this. Balance in nature rarely collapses through chaos. It usually starts from very small deviation, then spreads faster than any reflex. Honey badger charges straight at target, no circling or probing. That's the hunting method of animal relying on endurance, boldness, and closing speed. Small mongoose pack reacts almost immediately, but still slower than decisive moment. Warning call rings out, but pack still outside support range. Honey badger bites and holds prey's neck or nape, an effective restraint method helping it quickly end attack before opponent can escape. Honey badger doesn't leave immediately, but begins eating on spot. A common choice for confident predators when not sensing clear threat. Not far away, mongoose pack has heard alarm signal. They stop almost simultaneously, then quickly turn toward direction emitting sound. This isn't random reaction, but social behavior reinforced through natural selection. When one individual signals, entire pack immediately coordinates. Honey badger quickly recognizes pack approaching, but it doesn't retreat. Instead, it turns to face, raises fur, and grips food tightly. Mongoose pack approaches at safe distance, not rushing in immediately. They observe, maintain formation, and assess opponent before choosing intervention moment. When honey badger turns back to prey position, two mongooses from behind have closed in. They attack tail and flanks, areas honey badger cannot defend. This is attrition attack type. No single individual strong enough to bring down honey badger alone, but entire pack can force it to continuously expend energy. Honey badger counterattacks fiercely and strong enough to bring down several individuals in short time. But mongoose pack doesn't retreat, nor let formation fall into chaos. This is when numerical advantage begins showing effectiveness. Each eliminated individual almost immediately replaced, while honey badger must bear all pressure alone. Honey badger turns back to prey and continues eating. This is biggest mistake it will make today. While head bowed down, three mongooses attack simultaneously from three directions. Situation changes, not from single strike, but because honey badger, for first time, loses control of fighting space around its own body. Honey badger still hasn't left prey, partly from resource-keeping instinct, partly because it never had to abandon anything before. Today is first time. Mongoose pack doesn't rush in chaotically. They attack in short waves, then withdraw, maintaining pressure without depleting own energy. Through each collision, honey badger's reaction speed begins decreasing very slightly. What naked eye hardly notices is clear enough for entire pack to adjust closing distance. Honey badger begins moving to find more favorable opening, trying to regain initiative. But each gap just appearing is quickly filled by entire pack. Confrontation now no longer revolves around prey carcass. Entire mongoose pack has shifted target from protective reaction to applying pressure until honey badger exhausts. Mongoose pack not panicking, they continue following exact rhythm maintained from battle start. Patience is final and most effective weapon in this species' arsenal. Honey badger still bites several more individuals, but force and accuracy markedly decrease. Wounded ones retreat, while remainder continue applying pressure. This is battle about time, not strength. And in this battle, numbers always beat single individual, however exceptional that individual. Honey badger lowers body longer than normal beat. A declining sign mongoose pack immediately recognizes and exploits without delay. They don't need clear finishing blow. Just maintain pressure long enough, remainder decided by opponent's physiological limits. When honey badger falls again, it still manages to rise. But posture has lost stability, showing body beginning to decline movement controllability. Mongoose pack gives honey badger no rest. Each time it struggles up, entire pack immediately tightens pressure before opponent regains balance. Honey badger still bites back, still growls, and still won't retreat. But now, body can no longer keep up with its fighting will. This isn't simply failure of stubborn individual, but proof of survival law. Collective endurance can wear down even exceptional opponent. After ensuring threat has ended, mongoose pack quickly disperses and continues moving toward water source as original route. Honey badger lies motionless long while before beginning to move again. It's not dead, but clearly exhausted and completely lost situation control. Prey carcass still remains in place, but honey badger doesn't return, remaining energy not enough to exchange for what already cost it too much. Nature doesn't judge. No good or bad guys in this story, only choices and consequences. Honey badger chose to attack pack and failed. But story doesn't stop there. One more severely wounded mongoose individual falling behind, and mourning order seems beginning to reverse. Honey badger recognizes opportunity, stops observing. Though body still hurts and exhausted, hunting instinct hasn't disappeared, only temporarily suppressed. And in those few seconds, honey badger looks at pack, then looks at wounded mongoose. First time today, it steps back without anyone attacking it. Honey badger turns away slowly, not fleeing but also not continuing pursuit. First time that morning, it actively refuses an opportunity. In nature, individual strength always has limits, while collective strength can far exceed individual capabilities when organized effectively. Tomorrow, honey badger will continue hunting while mongoose pack still goes toward water source. Nature continues, not remembering and not judging. But what remains after this morning isn't moment honey badger fell, but when entire pack turned back just from brief signal from wounded individual. Nature answers the question, what's stronger, individual or collective strength? It only presents real situations with unpredictable outcomes. From above, the East African savanna appears as an endless golden canvas, where the shadow of large wings glides silently in parallel with a dark streak moving close to the ground. Beneath an acacia tree, a pride of lions rests after a meal. Bloodstains still ring their mouths, completely unaware of the brown eagle circling overhead and gradually lowering its arc. Under the low grass nearby, a black mamba nearly 3 meters long slides across a trail, carrying in its fangs enough venom to kill 10 grown adults. The eagle suddenly folds its wings and dives, talons driving straight into the mamba's midsection. Wind screams through the feathers as the large shadow rapidly covers the grass below. Talons pin the target to the red dust. The mamba immediately coils in resistance, whipping its head around at extreme speed, its venom-loaded fangs ready to strike. The mamba tightens around the eagle's wing, locking it in place and leaving the eagle thrashing helplessly as the venomous fangs continue searching for an angle on the neck. The eagle pecks repeatedly into the snake's body, but each strike only causes the mamba to tighten further. Two bodies roll across the red earth, dust billowing in clouds, feathers and scales tangling together. The sound of the violent struggle causes the lion pride to raise their heads. Two females rise and move slowly forward, curiously watching the cloud of red dust rolling up along the trail. One lowers its muzzle toward the brawl. The mamba immediately releases the eagle's wing, rears its head high, spreads its hood wide, and lets out a loud hiss of warning. The lioness stops. It recognizes that what stands before it is not prey, but a venomous threat. The mamba slowly slides out of the red dust and disappears into the low grass. The eagle snaps upright, spreading wings that are now slightly misaligned. Both lions still stand nearby as it fans its neck feathers and opens its beak in warning after the life or death struggle. The two lions advance no further. The eagle quickly gathers itself and labors heavily off the ground, circling once before fading into the rising thermals above the savanna. Beneath the low grass, the mamba has vanished, leaving behind a patch of earth that even the top of the food chain chose to avoid. In the end, all three species walked away. No true winner, only creatures that understood survival sometimes matters more than continuing the fight. Far from the red patch of earth, a secretary bird, nearly 1.3 meters tall, strides across the blazing grassland, its scale-armored legs ready for snake hunts across the ground. For this bird, the legs are the weapon, thick scales resistant to venom and kicks of tremendous force, moving steadily through the dry grass in search of the next prey. Ahead, a cobra nearly 2 meters long slides across open ground. The secretary bird immediately halts, lowers its neck, and holds a safe distance. The cobra quickly rears up, spreads its hood wide, and opens its mouth in a threat display. But the secretary bird only steps slowly sideways, forcing the snake to rotate with it. The snake suddenly lunges forward, but the moment its body is fully extended, a strike like a thunderbolt drives straight into its midsection, slamming the cobra down onto the red earth. On the next attack, the secretary bird again leaps backward at the right moment and delivers a reverse kick into the oncoming head, sending the snake staggering. By the third exchange, the cobra is slower. A kick straight down to the top of the head sends the snake's body thrashing across the ground, unable to raise its neck again. The secretary bird delivers a few more decisive kicks, then picks up the cobra's body and walks on across the grassland, as though the hunt just completed was nothing more than a routine part of the afternoon. It will continue sweeping through the grass until dusk, using its long legs and patience to bring down one snake after another with precise strikes. The sun-scorched grassland belongs to those who hunt from above. But to the west, among red rocks and scorching thorn bushes, another snake hunter appears, one that works at ground level through pure speed. A semi-desert stretches with cracked red rock and scattered cactus, as a small shape darts through the gaps in the stones so fast that the dust has not yet risen before it is gone. That is the roadrunner, a bird that hunts with long legs, a tail like a rudder, and a ground speed exceeding 40 kilometers per hour rather than wings. Ahead, a desert snake slides across open ground. The roadrunner spots the prey and immediately changes course, driving straight toward it without slowing. The snake quickly coils into a defensive posture, but the roadrunner simply circles continuously, forcing the opponent to keep changing direction until the movements of head and body begin to fall out of sync. The snake's strike misses. The moment its head extends forward, the roadrunner has already looped behind it, driving its beak hard into the back of the neck and slamming the snake's body against the red rock. Keeping the prey gripped in its beak, the roadrunner repeatedly slams the snake's body against the rock until the entire body goes limp and stops responding. Right where the chase ends, the hunter begins eating its prey. Each portion of the snake's body disappears between strong jerks and steady swallowing. On this arid land, the window of survival is always brief. Just minutes ago, a living creature was finding its way to survive. Now it has become the energy source sustaining another life. Across the savanna and semi-desert, each bird hunts in its own way. One uses talons, one relies on the force of its kicks, and the roadrunner depends entirely on speed. Every snake hunt between savanna and semi-desert is a gamble, because just one successful bite from a black mamba or a cobra is enough to end the hunter permanently. The eagle survived that morning because the mamba's fangs glanced off the thick neck feathers. Had they pierced the skin, the venom would have brought it down from the sky within minutes. For the secretary bird, the leg scales are the final line between life and death, because if the cobra could reach the unprotected thigh, the outcome would be entirely different. The roadrunner is different. No armor, no grip strength, only raw speed. Every loop around the snake is a bet of its life for the sake of its young. The brown eagle perches on a dry branch, wings pressed to its body, waiting for the bruised muscles to recover after the struggle. Further out in the afternoon grassland, the secretary bird still paces slowly through the yellow grass, knowing snakes are most active as temperatures begin to fall. Across the semi-desert, the mother roadrunner continues driving through the scorching rock crevices to find food. And beneath the acacia tree, the lions still lie there. And every time the wind stirs the grass ahead, they immediately raise their heads and look toward the place where the mamba once disappeared. Tomorrow, the eagle will circle the sky again. The secretary bird will step through the yellow grass, and the roadrunner will continue racing through the red rock. But the snakes will continue to exist as well. The race between talon and venom has no finish line, only the next round. When the last ray of sunlight leaves the savanna, the mamba still slides silently through the wind-stirred grass, fast enough and venomous enough that no one wants to cross its path a second time. The grassland of southern Africa, in the middle of the dry season, earth cracked open in great patches, grass burned flat, and the last water source vanished many weeks ago. But deep beneath the dry surface, a creature still exists. Its body nearly shut down, metabolism drastically reduced to hold on to its last reserves of moisture. Through months without eating or drinking, heart beating slowly, waiting for the familiar signal that will wake the body back to life. The sky to the west begins to darken, black clouds rolling low and carrying a damp wind. Then the first drops of rain fall onto the dry earth and seep into the cracks. The rain grows heavier, softening the parched soil, water pooling in small patches across the cracked surface, carrying moisture and new vitality to the arid land. Then the earth stirs. A crack widens, mud bursts upward, and from below, a large head with amber eyes slowly rises after months of concealment. The African bullfrog has a body as dense as a mass of muscle sunk in mud, jaws occupying nearly half its head, lined with small spike-like teeth. Once prey has entered, there is no escape. A body not built for running, it only needs to lie still and wait for prey to come to it. And after months of starvation, the hunting instinct rises back with full force. Small insects crawl across the wet mud. Another bullfrog lies watching the ground, its body blending almost completely into the mud color. a millipede passes close. The bullfrog's mouth snaps open, tongue fires out, jaws close. From the moment the prey touches down to the moment it disappears takes half a second. 10 minutes. Dozens of insects have vanished. The frog makes use of the brief rainy days to rapidly recover the energy burned away through the entire dry season. But insects are only the appetizer. For them, anything that fits in the mouth is food. And around the newly formed water pools, larger prey gradually appears. A field mouse steps out from the wet grass, searching for seeds along the water's edge, nose down low, completely unaware that death is waiting just ahead. It takes one more step, then the mud explodes. The frog's mouth snaps open, swallowing the mouse whole, locking every struggle down with the sharp teeth lining its mouth. The eyeballs press downward to help push the prey deeper into the throat. The mouse disappears, hind legs kicking weakly, then going still. The belly swells, but the mouth is already ready for the next one. 2 weeks after the rain, the savanna is drying again. Insects and small reptiles are more active, and the bullfrog has left the water pool, sitting motionless like a lump of dry mud on the red earth. A small snake slides past, just 20 centimeters away, tongue flickering, head raised to probe the environment. It is still too small to recognize the danger directly in front of it. The snake glides across the frog's field of view. A strike launches upward, misses. Red earth flies up as the prey attacks and tries to find a way out. The second lunge lands true. Jaws lock onto the head. Spiked teeth drive deep. The snake's body coils and tightens around the frog, but is pressed flat against the ground. The frog begins to swallow. The grassland returns to quiet. The frog, lying still under the warm sun, belly rounded and full, beginning the slow process of digestion after a series of heavy meals under the sunlight slowly returning. The rainy season brings not only food, but the opportunity to breed, when all activity must happen quickly before the last drop of water disappears. At the largest water pool in the area, dozens of males gather, throats swelling as deep calls roll across the savanna, drawing females and staking out control of the breeding center. The strongest male holds the central position where the water is deepest, while others ram, press, and bite each other to win the only chance to continue their lineage. When the female arrives, mating is quick, eggs are fertilized immediately, and cling to moss and grass, beginning a life cycle that must outrace the receding water. Tadpoles hatch, thousands of tiny bodies swimming frantically in the warming pool, eating algae and each other to grow, because their life cycle is shorter than the pool sustaining them. Many weeks pass, the harsh sun returns, the pool shrinks day by day from a wide pond to a small puddle. Tadpoles packed together in a life source that is steadily running out. And in the middle of the shrinking pool, the father frog stays. He looks at the mud ridge dividing two pools of water, then quietly uses his hind legs to break through the mud, channeling his young through to the water on the other side. After hours of digging mud, under the blazing sun, his strength is spent, skin dry, eyes half closed. Yet he has held on to the chance of life for thousands of tadpoles. A smaller frog enters the territory being guarded. But for the bullfrog, a smaller member of its own species can sometimes also become food. The lunge happens quickly and decisively. As the dry season turns back, the instinct to protect and the instinct to hunt exist within the same body. Tadpoles begin to grow legs, some metamorphosing into frogs in fewer than 3 weeks, fingernail-sized, leaving the muddy pool to step into the high-risk world above the waterline. But the moment they reach the bank, the young frogs face hunting birds, snakes around the water's edge, and other adult frogs, because when hungry, this species does not distinguish its own kind. Most do not survive the first week. Of thousands of eggs, only a few will still be alive by the following rainy season, but those that remain will grow into monsters like their father. The pool has dried completely. The last tadpoles have left, and the father frog gazes silently at the empty patch of earth, sitting at the edge of dry mud, sensing the heat of the dry season slowly returning. Then the old instinct wakes. It begins to dig, hind legs driving hard, body sinking gradually into the hardening mud, preparing for the next long sleep. Mud slowly covers the back, the head, then both eyes, leaving behind a water-retaining membrane that gradually encases the body like a survival cocoon for the dry months ahead. The earth cracks open again, grass burns flat under the scorching sun, the water pools vanish entirely, and deep below the dry ground, the bullfrog lies still with a slowing heart, waiting for the next rain. A young frog that survived the rainy season sits near the drying bank. No larger than a coin, it has just caught its first ant. Life starts here. If it survives the first dry season, it will burrow into a mud cocoon like its parents, then emerge after the rains, larger, stronger, with a mouth that grows wider with every hunting season. The hot wind sweeps across the savanna. The cracked, dry earth is completely silent, but deep below, hundreds of bullfrogs lie still inside their own water-retaining membranes. And that is how the African bullfrog survives. The most voracious predator on the savanna is also the one that buries itself in a sleep lasting many months, just to exchange it for a handful of opportunities. Field mice still search for seeds. Grass snakes still hunt, completely unaware that the danger sleeping beneath their feet needs only one rain to open its mouth. The rainy season will return, perhaps soon, perhaps late. But without needing to know the timing, it only needs to feel the first vibration when water touches the earth. The first raindrop will fall, the earth will soften, pools will form, insects will surge, and from beneath the cracks, amber eyes will open again, beginning a new hunting season. But for now, the grassland is still dry and hot, and deep beneath the dark earth, it still lies there, waiting. The ground trembles faintly. Not rain yet, only wind moving through the grass. But sooner or later, the water will return, and it will be here when that happens. Through the still water blanketing the surface of the marsh, where the light of dawn barely touches a few inches of the waterline, a sound of heavy breathing rises from the reeds. It is not the sound of fish breaking the surface, nor the wind moving through the grass. It is the breath of a creature, watching your every move. Okavango does not welcome you. It tests you, and whoever hesitates will not have time to understand where they went wrong. Welcome to Okavango, not a river, not a lake. This is a survival machine powered by floodwater, sunlight, and blood. A place where every flood season is a rebirth, and every nightfall is a survival contest that no one is allowed to lose. Here, humans, are only observers. No privileges, no protection, only the naked truth of nature. Before going deeper into this journey, if you carry within you the fire of the wild, subscribe now so you never miss a thing. Because what lies ahead is not a sightseeing tour. This is a survival challenge in the heart of Africa's greatest flood delta. If Okavango has a king, it is not the species that swims the fastest. It is the species that dares to wade through deep water to claim the right to rule. With a body weighing over 200 kilograms and a jaw force exceeding 300 kilograms, the lions of Okavango bring down a water buffalo like a giant vice, clamping shut and never letting go. But their true strength is not in the strike. They are population controllers that help maintain the balance between the buffalo herds and the vegetation across the entire delta. In Okavango, lions do not hunt in the usual way. They ambush from floating grass islands. Each move forward a silent chess game. The pride splits into groups. One side creates noise to herd the prey. The other lies waiting in silence. This tactic has been passed down through generations of Okavango lion prides. But this land is shrinking. Poaching and agricultural fencing fragment territories. Lion prides grow smaller and no longer carry enough genetic diversity to survive. The lions of Okavango, who have learned to live with water, are now learning to live with a threat they cannot hunt: the disappearance of their own home. Okavango draws a long breath, and in the distance, another call begins to rise. If the lion is the king of strength, then the African wild dog is the genius of the collective, the only species that wins through discipline, not muscle. Weighing only 25 kilograms, yet with a hunting success rate of up to 80%, higher than both lions and leopards. Their weapon is not fang and claw, but perfect coordination requiring no language. They are the engine of the ecosystem. Each hunt moves the prey herds, creating a cycle of rotation that allows the grasslands of Okavango to recover and spread. Before a hunt, the entire pack performs a ritual. They lick each other's faces, heads touching heads, not out of affection, but as a combat ceremony. After that, no one leaves anyone behind. They share food first with the young and the sick, the only species in Okavango that places care for others above its own needs. Fewer than 6,600 individuals remain across all of Africa. Rabies, from domestic dogs, farmers' snares, and habitat loss, are wiping out the continent's most skilled hunters. Every wild dog pack is a miniature society. When a pack disappears, it is not just animals that are lost. An entire culture of hunting built across generations is lost with them. Night falls over Okavango, and beneath the water, something older, colder, begins to move. If the lion is king on land, and the wild dog is the master tactician, then the crocodile is the primal darkness of Okavango. the species that witnessed the extinction of the dinosaurs and is still here. The crocodile's jaws generate a bite force exceeding 1,700 kilograms, more than any living creature on Earth. A single roll of the body underwater tears apart anything in just 3 seconds. But the crocodile is not only a destroyer, they are natural canal diggers. Their sleeping hollows create water pools that help hundreds of species survive through the dry season. Crocodiles do not give chase. They wait, sometimes for hours, even days, until the prey steps close enough that no escape remains. When they strike, there is no warning, no running start, only the water breaking open for one beat, and everything is already over. Despite existing for over 200 million years, the crocodiles of Okavango are losing their habitat. Water pollution and agricultural land conversion are shrinking the living space of the oldest surviving reptile on Earth. A species that has survived 5 mass extinctions now faces a threat that no evolution can defend against: human indifference. The water surface goes flat again, but just nearby, a heavier breath, a larger body, begins to rise. But the story does not stop with predators. As we leave the shallows, another world begins to reveal itself. The world of the giants that lie beneath the surface. This is the deep water of Okavango, where light does not reach the bottom, and anyone who enters cannot determine where they stand in the food chain. The floodwater does not only bring fish and plants, it brings the hippopotamus, a species weighing 4 tons, the most aggressive and most important creature in the entire delta ecosystem. If the crocodile is the silent darkness, then the hippopotamus is a moving storm. And the next part of this journey will take us straight into the eye of that storm. The hippo does not need to hunt to become the most dangerous creature in Okavango. It is dangerous simply because it exists, and no species is allowed to forget that. Weighing over 4 tons, capable of running at 30 kilometers per hour on land, jaws that open to 180 degrees. Hippos kill more people in Africa than any other large animal, including lions. But the hippo is a nutrient pump. Every day they deposit hundreds of kilograms of organic matter into Okavango, feeding the algae, feeding the fish, and sustaining the entire food chain below. Male hippos mark territory by spinning their tails and spraying dung, the clearest and most undeniable boundary language Okavango has ever known. When territory is violated, there is no negotiation. 2 males crash into each other, jaw against jaw, the sound of impact splitting the air until one submits or flees. But hippos are disappearing. Prolonged drought, declining flood levels, and ivory poaching are pushing this species toward the endangered list. An Okavango without hippos would be a dead river. Newborn hippo calves need clean water to breathe. When the water is polluted, when flood levels no longer rise high enough, the survival rate of the next generation drops to catastrophic levels. The water rises, the water recedes, and in that cycle, nothing is permanent. Every strength has its limit. Every territory has its end. Here, speed no longer matters. Strength no longer matters. The survivor is the one who can read Okavango, knowing when to be still, when to strike, when to step back. Tonight, the lions have cornered a buffalo herd at the water's edge. The crocodiles are waiting below. The wild dogs stand at the rim of the darkness, and the hippos do not care about any of them. A sound. The buffalo herd breaks in every direction. Water explodes upward, and in that chaos, Okavango takes its share, as it has done for millions of years. The loser of tonight will vanish without a trace. Only the ripple of water spreading outward, and the silence of Okavango answers everything. Everything you have just witnessed is not a collection of separate stories. Okavango is a living organism, and every species is an irreplaceable cell within it. Lions control the buffalo herds. Wild dogs distribute prey across the territory. Crocodiles dig canals. Hippos nourish the water. Switch off one, and the entire system will tilt. Okavango does not exist because of floodwater. It exists because of balance. A balance rewritten over millions of years, now being erased in just a few centuries. And when one link disappears, it is not just one species that is lost. It is an entire ecological symphony that has never been written before and will never be written again. But the most dangerous creature in Okavango is not the lion, not the crocodile, not the hippo. It is us, the only species that destroys without needing to be hungry. Hydroelectric systems upstream are regulating the flow. Less floodwater means less grassland, fewer fish, less life, diminishing at every level, multiplying downward. Poaching does not only kill animals, it shatters social structures. Lion prides lose their leaders, wild dog packs lose their memory, hippos lose their guide generation. And the price to be paid is not only nature's to bear. When Okavango dies, the millions of people who depend on its water and tourism will lose everything. When the lion's roar fades into the night, when the wild dog pack disappears behind the curtain of grass, when the water surface returns to calm as though nothing ever happened. The question that remains is not, what have we discovered? It is, do we have enough time to change? Before the answer becomes a permanent silence. What will we have left when Okavango no longer floods? When the greatest survival machine in Africa finally runs out of fuel? Okavango is still here, still flowing, still alive. But for how long depends on the answer we choose to give today. If this journey has made you shudder, left you unsettled, or simply made it impossible to look at Okavango the same way again, leave a comment below. And until next time, at the next brutal survival arenas, where nature does not ask if you are ready,